Do you like blood and gore? Do you like surreal nightmarish films? Are you looking for your next film challenge? Well, look no further. I think I have the perfect film for you. Just don't regret watching this. In 2015, I rented a film called Baskin. I knew nothing about this film other than, well, it is a horror. I love horror, and I get a hold of anything I can find. Little did I know that this little nightmarish Turkish delight would terrify me for years to come. So horrifying, yet visually striking. Even with its sheer horror, I find myself back here again after 8 years. But does the film still live up to its dread? Or was I just too young of a kid to be consuming horror of the sort? I mean, I was only 14 when I saw this. I think it fucked me up a bit, not gonna lie. After rewatching Baskin, I can say this much. This is not for the faint of heart. Now as a grown man, this film still makes me squeamish. It is a twisted, grotesque, bloody ride, straight down to the pits of hell. Literally. Welcome back to Filmwego. This week, let's travel to Turkey. Actually, let's travel down to the fiery pit of hell, to a place where your worst fears and nightmares come to life. Directed by Evrenol. Due to the film being extremely graphic, I won't be showing any of those scenes, but viewers' discretion is still advised. For all those that are looking for a bloody fuel ride, get your tickets ready, as we're about to take off. A few months back, I did a video on Dario Argento's Suspiria, one of my favorite horror films of all time, and it is due to its hypnotizing and mesmerizing dreamlike quality that keeps you stuck inside a horrific lucid dream. Just like a terrifying dream, you're scared, but you also know that nothing can hurt you because it is just a dream. When it is over, you're back in reality. Now, what if a horror film were to be a lucid dream come to life? I think Baskin would be the closest thing you will find. Let's first start with a brief synopsis. The film follows 5 cops who get a call from dispatch to check out a scene, only to find out that it is a doorway to hell. Baskin is a film that never lets go once you hit play. As the first frame starts, you're sucked into the film due to its stylistic, colorful, dreamlike quality. You know something is off, but you can't look away. The color choice can be clearly seen as influenced by Nicholas Winding Refn's work, like Only God Forgives or Neon Demon. The more you look at the frame, the more you're hypnotized until the horror unfolds and the colors turn highly saturated. It is blood-curdling imagery. The film begins with 5 cops at a restaurant, joking and laughing, yet you feel tense throughout the conversation. Nothing graphic is seen, and I know that as I have seen the film, yet my heart was pumping fast. There's a scene where the meat is cooked. It is filmed in such a way that it can turn meat lovers into vegan for days. You hear the slice and the squish of the knife as it cuts into the meat and as it sizzles on the grill. The sound effect and the desaturated cinematography makes for a very discomforting and sickening feeling, foreshadowing what's to come, and a lot comes later on. During the dining scene, we get to know our characters. Here, the characters are better fleshed out than most horror films. Yes, they're not perfectly three-dimensional, but they have enough depth to them, and you get to know them slightly even for a film's short runtime, which is kinda rare in a horror film. Very early on in the film, we find out that our group of cops are pretty much tough assholes who don't play by the rule. They're not nice people, yet somehow, I still rooted for them as I get to know them slightly. The film also has a terrific scene where the 5 cops bond and sing in their van, which I find to be very simple, but terrific scene that adds a lot to the story and the characters. But of course, the best aspect about Baskin is its build up towards its bloody finale. Unlike a lot of films that throw blood and gore at your face within the first 15 minutes, we as an audience get desensitized by the blood and gore before the finale even arrives, as we have already seen it all, leaving nothing left to shock viewers. Take the recent Taiwan film The Sadness, for example. I was shocked and disgusted at first, but by the 30-minute mark, I didn't seem to care, as I already seen all the gore that I needed to see. Baskin, however, is smart. It doesn't show you anything, well, other than the meat. We don't truly see the bloodshed until the middle segment. This helps build anticipation and uneasiness towards its viewers, playing with viewers' expectations, as we do not know what will happen or take place. It slowly builds on it, and doesn't reveal too much until it is needed, so when you see it, it's too late. You've seen it, and now the image is ingrained in your head. I also really enjoyed how the film utilizes locations. A lot of horror film takes place in haunted mansions or abandoned places, always wish their sets. This film utilizes every corner and corridor. During the last half of the film, we follow our 5 cops and venture into the abandoned building that leads straight to hell. I felt claustrophobic as I strode around the maze-like corridors with them, as flashlight bounced up and down, waiting to reveal what horror hides behind the wall. Don't worry, the film doesn't utilize jump scares, but when the horror reveals itself, it is way more terrifying than any jump scare you'll encounter, as it'll stick in your head. The last half of the film is nightmarish filled. Think Rob Zombie mix of Hellraiser, Hostel, or any of the bloodiest films you've ever seen, and fuse it into one. That is what we have here. But what makes it so terrifying is not due to the bloodshed and brutality, but the build up to its undefined dread, which a lot of modern horror film lacks. The build up to it is what makes it so foreboding, and when it arrives, you're forced to finish it, as you already reached the finish line. Overall, this bloody macabre of a film is probably enough to turn even die-hard horror fans squeamish, because it definitely did that to me, even on my second viewing. My only slight problem with the film is the second segment, which comes abruptly, and I find it less engaging. It does play a huge role in the film though. The film is a terrific opening with an unsettling vibe, so when it cuts to the second segment, it kind of removes the dread from me, and I long to head back to its linear timeline. Nevertheless, the segment is really well filmed, that feels very fantasy-like, but probably the least terrifying of the whole film. That segment feels like you swam back to the surface and returned back to its lucid dream world, a dreamlike state. But don't worry, very soon, the film pulls you back into its horrific reality. So yeah, watch this at your own discretion. But if you're looking for something that will linger in your mind weeks later, look no further. I think Baskin will do just that. Have you seen Baskin? Do you plan to see it? If you did, what did you think of it? Would you give this film a try? Comment below and let me know, and as always, subscribe for your next travel ticket.